Welcome to Real Talk, Real Growth. I'm your host, Linda Ostovitz. You know me as direct and to the point, real talk, and always looking for ways we can connect and help each other prosper. Real growth. Join me each month as I have meaningful, practical discussions with guests who are on the cutting edge of business. We'll talk and you'll grow. This is Real Talk, Real Growth. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk, Real Growth. I'm Linda Ostovitz, your host, and it is my pleasure to have my friend and businesswoman, Mary Jordan, with us today. Mary is the owner of Bra La La in Fulton, Maryland, in Maple Lawn, more precisely. Mary, welcome. I'm so happy that you've decided to join us today.
Hi, Linda. Thank you so much. I appreciate the invitation.
So as my listeners know, Mary, and I don't know whether I've told you this or not, I invite people to this podcast who I know well, who I respect, who have really demonstrated an ability to do great things. And Real Talk, Real Growth is really about business and growing business and how you got there. So thank you so much for your willingness to participate with me today.
Thank you.
Bra La La, obviously, in its name, is a bra store. Would that be an accurate statement?
Absolutely. Bra La La is a bra fitting boutique, and we've been in existence for 19 years now in the Maple Lawn district. Our focus is helping women find their perfect fit.
You mentioned 19 years in business. I think one of the truly incredible things about you as a businesswoman is that you opened up in an area that is a new area. And my belief is, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, that you are the only one of the original retail establishments that opened in Maple Lawn 19 years ago. And you are the last person standing. So how did you do that? What was there? What happened? How did you survive?
Yeah, Maple Lawn is actually a really interesting story because it was supposed to be the vision of the people that created Maple Lawn was to have it similar to the Kentlands, where they had people living there and then they had shopping and dining available as well. They started building houses, I believe, in 2005, and I came into existence in 2007. And the only other retailer that was currently there was the Pearl Day Spa. And little by little, there were little women's boutiques that would show up and exist for maybe a year or two, and then they left Maple Lawn. So Maple Lawn took a lot longer to grow than I think was originally anticipated, but Bra was the little house that could, and we stood there and made sure the people knew we were there, and the people came. It's been very fortunate for me to have that kind of following.
In addition to the shops that you mentioned, there were also a number of restaurants that had come into Maple Lawn and also did not survive. Is that correct?
Yes, particularly a year after we were in business in 2008 during that economic downturn. We had a restaurant next to us that closed, 11,000 square foot restaurant. And then the steakhouse across the street closed. The little Jerry's Subs that was next door to me closed. The coffee shop down the road closed. It was scary at the time because it was before the grocery stores came and the drugstores. It was just us and a cow field. But we're here for a reason. So I think there was definitely help from above that was helping us get through that economic downturn.
Help from above, maybe, but you're in charge here. So you talked about, though, one of the reasons you feel like you survived was you let people know you were there. You let people know that you were still standing. How did you do that? As a businesswoman, a young business, how did you do that?
So I really just became quite the joiner, and I left the store and went out into the public and became part of the Chamber of Commerce, the Baltimore Corridor Chamber, the Howard County Chamber, Businesswoman Network. I was involved with lots of nonprofits, the tourism department. I just made sure everybody knew that we were there. And Women Talk. So that really helped me because they would say, hey, have you ever been in this little place in Maple Lawn? We're only 5 minutes from Columbia Mall. And I think people, when they hear Fulton, they think it sounds like it's farther out.
But it's not.
It's not. It really is it's one of the communities of Howard County.
It sounds to me like, if I were to oversimplify, this was boots on the ground marketing, if you will. Did you hire a marketing person? Did you do print work? Did you do social media? Or was it really face to face and I'm building relationships because I'm right in your space?
Social media wasn't as prevalent as it is now. It was just starting to come to the surface. Facebook was just coming around, but it was more face to face. I made relationships with people at the hospital, the Claudia Mayer Cancer Center, so that they were aware of us. My whole purpose is for people to realize that we're a resource. And by going out there talking to people, it helped me spread the word that we existed and we were there to help the community.
So you talked about getting engaged with people. Did you, in fact, do some research about what women were interested in, what they needed, what would serve them?
So before I opened the store, I actually did sit in coffee shops from Gaithersburg to Ellicott City. And I surveyed 100 women to ask them if this is the kind of business they would like to see. I also visited any bra store that was on the East Coast. And I went and I was picking and choosing what I liked about them and what I felt I could do differently that would make us stand out. But it was unanimous, my results from the surveys, that women wanted this kind of business. They wanted assistance. They were tired of going to department stores, grabbing 30 bras that they think are going to fit them and having nobody really assist them to decide if they fit them correctly or not.
So your background was in biotech sales, as I recall. And this girl might wonder, how did you get from biotech sales to the incredible, wonderful, service-oriented business that you run right now?
It actually started even before that. When I first got out of college, I was working at the Lombardi Cancer Center at Georgetown University, and I was involved in breast cancer research. So I was very familiar with the gene-related diagnosis of breast cancer from the lab all the way up to the patient, because I was also involved with being a patient flow coordinator. So I was already starting to delve into that before I even had the idea that I was going to go into business for myself. I decided to go into biotech sales after 6 years in research, and I would go to many of the institutes, NIH, Hopkins, University of Maryland, and discuss scientific projects with people. And I enjoyed that, and it worked well for me, like I said, for 15 years. But at 15-year mark, I decided I wanted to do something on my own. I wanted to get back to my roots. My degree is in biology and in public health. So I really wanted to be involved in something where I gave back, and I was involved with the community. And a friend of mine had told me about a wonderful bra fitting experience she had at a store in Virginia Beach. I went with her and I was like, this is a great idea. And that's when I set out with the surveys to see if there was an interest in our area.
So once you decided, I want to do this, I've done some research, I'm getting boots on the ground to get people familiar with who I am, how did you actually break into the field?
Yeah, that was more difficult than I thought it was going to be, because it really is like landing on another planet and being told, figure out a way to survive. I started with going to a trade show that was in New York. It's called Curve, and had to fight my way in because I didn't have the trader license. I didn't have anything yet, really just an idea. But I spoke to the vendors and the merchants, and they started connecting me with other people who have done the same thing. I met a lovely couple of women that invited me back to their store in New Hampshire, and they let me stay with them for a week as they taught me all about the business, like how to fit and what to look for and what vendors to work with. And then the vendors held my hand. It really was, Brella was like an old-fashioned barn raising. It was amazing how many people came together to help me make it happen. My friend's sister was an engineer, and she helped me with my blueprints. And my other friend's mom, an interior designer, and she helped me with the decorations inside Brella. And then the vendors really did come by my side to help me decide what products to carry and the breadth of line and the sizes that were available. So it's been great.
Mary, why people were generous with their time and their wisdom is because of who you are. You're such an amazing, genuine, giving person. Doesn't surprise me one little bit that once people got to know you a little bit, they wanted to help you. So let's talk about the experience at Bra La La. And I will express at the get-go my personal experience with Bra La La. There is nothing like it. And you are greeted by an individual who now knows my size, knows what I wear, says, "Hi, Linda." But first time in there, you are just treated so wonderfully. You're taken into a private room. And as Mary said, you don't have to go in with 30 bras and say, gee, I wonder if this is going to work. The experience is dealing with experts who know what will work and who will even hook your bra for you when you're trying them on. How great is that, right? But it's a fabulous experience. And so I know that's important to you. How is it that you have created that atmosphere, which is unique and amazing? And how do you find the right people to carry out your vision of what that experience should be like?
I really was adamant about wanting my mission to be helping a woman increase their self-esteem. And when I created Bra La La, I knew that no matter who came through that door, we were going to make them feel welcome and be able to listen to them with what their needs are. First and foremost, we consider ourselves to be problem solvers. So if somebody comes in and they sit that one shoulder's higher than the other, or if they have one breast larger than the other, it doesn't scare us. It actually is an opportunity for us to show what we can do and what we know. In regarding the employees that I've hired, the first thing that I look for is compassion and kindness. It's very important that the people that represent us are going to look at everyone as being really their friend, that they're going to assist, help them feel beautiful and supported.
You certainly accomplish that goal, Mary. Again, I've been there. I've experienced it. It's wonderful. I brought my granddaughter, who, by the way, said to me, "Grandmom, I need bras. I can't find a bra that fits me." And she, at that time, was a young girl with very large breasts. And I said, "I'm going to fix you." So I took her into Bra La, and she was treated like a queen and walked out with bras that fit her. And for the next several days, I got text messages. "Grandma, my bra fits. I feel so good. I feel so much better." This was a young girl who was probably an even more challenging population sometimes with self-esteem and things of that nature. So just another personal experience. Mary, you and your staff, though, are experts. You are specially trained, as I understand it, not only to do regular fittings, but you also deal with a population who has had mastectomies. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. Elizabeth and I are the ones that are professionally trained through a course that we had to take in order to become certified national providers. We learned how to work with the different forms and how to measure. It's a different way of measuring than the normal bra fitting. There's lots of things to consider if they've had reconstruction, if they've had lumpectomies, if they've actually had a double mastectomy. And first and foremost, it's really about comfort. We want to make sure that the women are comfortable. Everybody, not just post-mastectomy, but everybody that comes into our dressing rooms. But Elizabeth and I have had extra training when it comes to working with post-mastectomy. We work very closely with the breast cancer center over at Howard County Hospital, and they send us people, and we try to talk to the doctors locally to make sure that they, once again, look at us as a resource, because we are here to help and assist women feel good about themselves.
You do. So one of the things I believe that you advertise, if you will, is that you carry, is it 200 sizes?
200 sizes. We would go from a 28 band all the way up to 56 and double A to P cup.
So as somebody who is a business owner and you have a lot of inventory, how scary is that to buy and know what to buy, to be able to turn over inventory? What's that experience like when everything's on Mary Jordan as the owner of Bra La La?
It's funny because I get excited every time we go to market. when we go to Curve in New York. And Elizabeth is my assistant buyer. She comes with me. And it's hard not to buy everything because there's so many beautiful products that we see from all over the world. But at this point, we're seasoned and we know what we need, where the holes are, and what we need to look for if we're missing something in our selection. But we get excited every season. It's fun to work with the Pantone colors that are currently popular and to be able to show that in pajamas, because we also carry pajamas and loungewear and bridal, maternity, sports bras. We carry all the latest and the greatest. And it's fun. It's fun to bring a little bit of Europe to Howard County. Do we overbuy? Probably sometimes, yeah. It feels like we're caught on with the wave. We know what we need and what we don't need. So we've gotten much better with our buying.
So I think you have over, did you tell me 5,000 SKUs in your store?
We do, but that includes accessories. So we also have extenders and socks and laundry wash and things like that. But yeah, we have a lot of product. Swimwear. We've been selling swim now probably for the past 5 years now. And that's also bra sized. So that definitely twerks up the SKUs.
I was just going to mention that because you now have basically a whole wall of swimwear when the season is right for that. So.
And the different styles. We have the bikinis, the tankinis, the one pieces, the cover-ups.
So, Mary, in addition to being an incredible businesswoman, you're also an incredible ambassador for the industry. So will you share with us how that became the case and what doors that opens for you and what doors you open for others being an ambassador in the industry?
Yeah, thank you for asking. One of our top brands, it's higher price point, but it is well worth it. And we explain that to you when you come to see us, is a company called Empreinte. And Empreinte is located in Brest, France. Yes, Brest. And Empreinte is different than the rest because they make everything from start to finish, including selecting the laces. They use a lot of levers lace, and there's only a few machines in the world that actually make levers lace. They hand inspect every bra that comes into existence. It takes over 2 years to become a creator for Empreinte, but they created a program called the Circle, which is 12 stores throughout the world that they feel represent their brand well. And we are one of 5 in the United States that was selected. We go into details so that people understand this brand and what makes it special. And we're so proud to represent it, as well as we all wear it.
I was going to say, I'm wearing it right now. I can show you I'm wearing it right now. And every day, I wear it every day. But this isn't about me. This is about you. But how incredible to be one of 12 stores in the entire world that represents them. How do you feel like you got to that place where you were so respected by such an incredible brand?
You know what? I pinch myself all the time saying, I don't know how I landed here, but I love it. And you know what? I really work hard to talk to other stores about the brand. And I'm involved with a Facebook page, a lingerie consortium, which is a private owners group. And there's 75 stores throughout the United States that participate in it. I know that I've talked to a lot of the owners saying, do you carry this brand? And a lot of people go, oh, it's just too pricey for my customers. But you know, customers want a range. So we make sure that we have good, better, best. And we explain the differences between them. A lot of people, when they come bra shopping, they want to treat themselves. So they look for the best of the best. And Empreinte really is the best product in the world.
I agree with you. And I have to say, too, if you care for them, they last.
Yes,
they do.
I had a woman come in the other day that had her bra for 10 years and it looked pristine. I was like, it's just the elastic eventually does start to give a little bit with any fabric. And she needed a replacement, but 10 years she had that bra.
Wow. I just think this honor you have earned, this position you've earned, let me put that differently. Nobody gave you anything, of being an ambassador is just so incredible. Do you advertise that fact to anybody?
I say that we are an ambassador for Empreinte, which people I don't think really know what ambassador is. I really don't want the other bra stores to feel slighted because I want as many women as possible to understand what a good product is, and I want them to try it on and wear it. But I just don't want to create any kind of animosity between myself and the other store owners.
It is just such an incredible position that you hold. And so, as an ambassador, when you buy, do you buy locally? Do you buy online? Do you go to New York? Do you go to Italy? Where do you go to buy?
Elizabeth and I actually did treat ourselves to the International Lingerie Show, which happened in January in Paris. And I don't go to that very often. I think I've been 3 or 4 times because it's really similar to what I see in New York, just on a bigger scale. So there's a lot more original designers that come in from other countries, and it's fun and it's the experience. But New York really suits our purpose. We go to New York. There's 2 scheduled times that we go. We go in February and we go in August, and we're buying 6 months ahead for the next season. But now that we're so established with some other brands, Panache and Evedon are 2 of our bigger brands, they have us coming to mid-markets. So now we're going to New York 4 times a year. In addition to the vendors coming to see us, Vandeveld is another one that's in the better quality, and they're out of Belgium, and they come to see us. They fly in and sit with us and bring product to us because they respect us as merchants too. So, of course, the longer you're in the industry, the more you get recognized as being one of the top players. But I like to give back. And since those 2 women from New Hampshire taught me how to fit, I've done the same with my friend who started her bra store now. Gosh, I think she's on 15 years. She came and spent time with me and I taught her how to fit. And I always open myself up to phone calls and visits by anybody who's just getting started because I feel like I want to help anybody make their dream come true.
So that's a good segue to talk about who is Mary Jordan, other than the owner of Bra La La, who's an incredibly successful businesswoman. And that is what you do and what you give back in our community. I remember my law firm had its office in Maple Lawn years ago for 10 years. We're not there anymore. But I remember the occasion when you would have people line up on Route 216 end to end holding bras. And I think the first time I thought, what in the world is this? I had no idea. Tell us what that was all about.
That was our bra stretch that we did. It was in October. It was always the first Friday of October. And it was to bring awareness to breast cancer. We had big signs made up that had a fact about breast cancer, and high school would come out and all the local businesses would participate. We had a bingo card where you go to the different shops and get your card stamped. And if you brought that back, you'd be entered to win a prize. But it was so heartwarming to have the banks involved. I remember M&T was really big. We had Greg Fox, the accounting executive, came out. Ken Ullman came out. And people really wanted to support us with getting the word out that we were supporting the awareness of breast cancer. So the high school, the football players were holding those signs, and we would connect the bras and we would stretch them down to 16 without damaging. They were gently used bras. And then we'd roll them up and put them into bags and send them off to Success and Style. We donate over 500 bras a year to Success and Style, and they help women who have experienced domestic violence or homelessness. They help them get back on their feet and get out there and interview and find new jobs.
That's just one example, Mary, of how you are engaged in and support the community. Would you like to talk about some other ways, like Blossom Hope and BWN? And
I am involved with BWN. I used to be a board member with you, but I try to participate as much as I can with BWN, leadership of Howard County. And I try to give back to all the organizations, Gilchrist, Blossoms of Hope, Ridgecroft, Arc of Howard County. It goes on, the Red Devils. And it's what makes my heart sing is to be able to give back. And I like the word to get out that if you have an organization or a nonprofit that you're raising money for, we are happy to have an event in our store where we'll donate a percentage of whatever people spend back to your organization. I'm involved with the Women's Giving Circle on the advisory board there. But I've worked with PTA groups, preschool groups, Echo Works, hospital fundraisers, you name it, I'm there.
Yes, you are. You definitely are. And Mary's donations that often appear in silent auctions are always top contenders. In fact, you have done, I believe I've been to more than one, fashion shows, right?
We did a fashion show last year at Encore and right there in Columbia, and that was benefiting the Scholarship Foundation for a scholarship fund for the Businesswoman Network. That was great fun. It happened to be on Derby Day, and everybody came out dressed to the nines with their big hats, and super fun day.
Didn't you also do one at Renaissance when that was across the street from you?
Yes, when Renaissance was there, that was the ideal location. We did several, actually. I think we did 3 or 4 of them in conjunction with the other women's boutiques that were in Maple-on. So Simply Divine, which is not around anymore, and the Liquid Blue, the denim store, also not there. But we all worked together to put on a fashion show. Oh, the men's store, Hyatt, which is also not around anymore. We all worked collectively so that people saw what was available in our community.
Very good. Also want to go back to the Women's Giving Circle for a moment. Why don't you just share what the Women's Giving Circle is for our listeners who might not know?
The Women's Giving Circle is a conglomerate of a group of women that actually give money to nonprofits throughout the community. In fact, we have coming up the Big Give, which I think they had 30 nonprofits that have all applied for grants. And the Women's Giving Circle will request grant money, and then they'll bring that in and then distribute it among the different nonprofits in the community.
And you are on the advisory board of the Women's Giving Circle. I had an occasion to be at a Women's Giving Circle event recently and saw for the first time the Young Women's Giving Circle, which consisted of amazingly impressive young women. But you're engaged with them, aren't you?
That really is what makes my heart happy, is working with them. I love the young women from these local high schools. I think there's 10 girls that are involved right now. A lot of them are juniors and some of them are seniors, but it really has them learning how to be altruistic. And they brought it up to the congressional level where they're asking that product be provided in the community college in addition to the middle schools and the high schools, that it shouldn't be something that women are embarrassed about. It's a product they need, and it should be readily available to them. So these young women have been fundraising and out in the community collecting product. They have boxes throughout the community. They have boxes out at the day spas. They have them at the community college and throughout all the high schools. They're wonderful. They're very impressive young women. It's so nice to see that these are the leaders of our future.
And it's nice to know that they have you to guide them along the way. So when you started your business, did you have young children?
I had 2 daughters who are now 27 and 30. And at the time, they were 8 and 11. So yes, that was quite the challenge. But my husband is the man behind the scenes, Mr. Bralala, and he pays the bills at night and actually goes in and cleans the store on the weekends. And he's my computer guy, my IT guy. He's my rock. But he helped make this dream come true. And my daughters got to witness what it's like for somebody to start a business from the ground up, from an idea. I had a couch in the back room, and I would pick them up and get them there after school, and they would just sit and do their homework and listen and watch. And they both grew up in the business.
So we have to finish this story, though, or keep going with this story, because those girls are not in the business. Why don't you share what your girls are doing now?
My oldest daughter, Kendra, she had graduated from Mount St. Mary's. She spent time at Outward Bound in Philadelphia. She moved back home because she wanted to save for a house, and she got a wonderful job at the aquarium. She's involved with the logistics of the tour guides And I get the pleasure of having her come back and tell the wonderful stories about all the creatures and the experiences that are going on at the aquarium. And then my youngest is a rock star. She manages her business. She has 12 people on her payroll. She's on a tour bus right now, touring across the United States. And soon she'll be jumping on an airplane to the UK and then Japan and then Australia. This is her third album release that just came out. But I do feel like I had an influence on her when it came to running a business. And she will come to me with business questions. She's not interested in the bra world, other than they both love the product that I sell. But they do talk to me about how I would handle situations and logistics. And it's fun. They've grown into beautiful young ladies.
That doesn't happen by accident. They have a great mother and a great father. So it doesn't happen by accident. And the youngest one, what is the name of her group?
The name of her band is Snail.
And she was on Jimmy Fallon not long ago, right?
She was on Jimmy Fallon. Yep. That was actually her second appearance on Jimmy Fallon. She was on Stephen Colbert. Lindsay's story is unique in that she really did it all herself. She put her music out on Bandcamp, and she grabbed a couple friends who are still with her, still touring with her 10 years later. And she was still in high school when South by Southwest sent out a scout that discovered her, and she drove her little Prius to Texas and performed. And then when the college offers started coming in, she had also 13 record label offers. So she decided to go with the record label instead of college. And she said, Mom, people go to college to figure out what they want to do. I know what I want to do. I think this is it. This is the way to go. So we encouraged her, and she's been soaring ever since.
That's wonderful. Congratulations on the success of both of your daughters. And I know their moms, so I'm not surprised that they are successful. Mary, thank you so much for spending this time with us. You really and truly are an amazing story. When I think of somebody who starts a business, even under the best of circumstances, it's tough. And you experienced the economic downturn in 2008
and then COVID. So during COVID, we were told that we needed to close our store for 2 months at a time. And I quite didn't know what way to pivot. But I noticed that there was a project that the bra owners were starting to pull together called the Comfort Project. And that was where you provide pajamas and socks and little niceties to the frontline workers that were over at the hospital. And we donated over 100 bags to the hospital, to the nurses and the ER people, to just provide them a little bit of comfort so that they know that we care. And the community came together for that as well. We had people dropping off. Their Girl Scout troops had made cards for the individuals. We had Gatorade that was donated from Harris Teeter, and it was amazing. But it helped keep me relevant, and people would call in and they would actually purchase a bag for $50 that included the pajamas and then, like I said, the socks and the extra stuff that was in there. And I hand delivered them to the hospital, the 100 bags to the hospital. I took them over to the community college and they escorted them over there. And then people were calling me that had friends that were nurses or sisters that were in the hospital. And I started sending boxes of comfort to people all over the United States. And it really got us through COVID.
That's incredible. And I'm so glad you said that, because I remember when you were doing that. But from a sales point of view, were people able to still order from you and were you still able to sell even though
I tried to do it as gingerly as possible without crossing the guidelines. So if they had already purchased from us, I was able to reorder for them and get product to them. And I would FaceTime with a lot of people, and I would teach them. If they said, can you show me how to fit? I would just make sure you have a tape measure, and I would teach them how to fit themselves. And then after eyeballing them, and I would sometimes send 2 or 3 sizes, and then they call me back, and then I'd watch them through Zoom and see if it was fitting them properly or not. I had people in the Maple Lawn community that I would drop off a bag and knock on the door and go and sit in my car. At that time, we didn't know what COVID was even about. And then they'd call me back saying, okay, I picked which ones I want. And then I would go back the next day and pick up the bag and bring it back. And that kept me busy. And like I said, kept me on the map so the people knew I was there. And yeah, we made it through.
And still standing. We keep coming back to that, still standing.
And I think it's because it's a labor of love. I really do. I think people can feel the compassion and the kindness that Brella is about. And that's what we set out to do and what we continue to strive for.
You are an amazing success at that, my friend. And I congratulate you for that. And thank you for spending the time with us today. I know you're headed to the aquarium to spend some time with your daughter for Earth Day, but your story is incredible. And again, you're a self-made person with an amazingly large heart, and you're a giver and an amazing businesswoman. So again, I'm going to say the experience of bra is like no other place that you have ever bought a bra in your life. Go in, take advantage of the time and the caring and the expertise, and you will walk out happy. And on more than one occasion and more than one arenas, I've pulled up my shirt and said, look.
Thank you, Linda. It's customers like you that actually make our jobs so joyous.
Thank you, Mary. All the best to you. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Please be sure to like and to subscribe to Real Talk, Real Growth, wherever podcasts are found. Join me each month as we discuss a new topic of interest. We'll talk and you'll grow.